Well, my friends, this is Macil Duncan, the Patriot Pastor. We are coming on just a second here. And as we're getting ready to go live on 96.9 FM here in Chattanooga, I want to say special thanks to all those on Rumble and X, or our fans that are on the Facebook, True Social, Instagram, all the different social media sites. Thank you guys for liking and sharing the show. That helps a lot. Here comes the cue. Well, it's good to be on the show, my friends, and welcome. This is Macil Duncan, and this is the Macil Duncan radio show here daily, 3 to 6 p.m., broadcast live from Chattanooga here in my home studio provided by USA Radio and Street Level America. That takes me into 36 states now and two countries, Mexico and Canada. And we appreciate their special efforts of getting the Macil Duncan show across the country, coast to coast. And we appreciate all those here in the local area that listen and like and tell your friends about the show. Memorial Day is coming up and a lot of stuff happening. I know you guys all probably have your plans. I highly recommend, if you're looking for a small town that still respects the flag and still respects veterans, come to Ringgold, Georgia. I have gone down there on several occasions. They have a parade, probably like any other city you can imagine. They got flags up and down. And we were there this past Sunday. My wife and I went out to eat with some friends from church. And Jefferson's good place. You got to go check it out. As we were leaving Jefferson's, people were getting out their flags. And what we found out they do is family members that want to put their flag out early, evidently, and it has a nameplate for the veteran or the person they care about, and they put the flag up. It's pretty cool. So Ringgold, Georgia, if you're looking for a patriotic drive-through, I highly recommend it. Not to mention, if you like to give business to towns that still respect this country, go down to Ringgold, Georgia, and have you a meal, buy a Coke, get some ice cream. There's an ice cream shop, by the way. It's got Bible verses. It's a very good Christian group, and I'm sorry the name escapes me. So I like to give plugs. You don't always have to pay for me to give you a plug. If you've got a good show or a good product, I'm going to sometimes just throw a bone to you and say, hey, way to go. There's some good folks here in the Chattanooga area especially. I really want to say that. So speaking of that, I mentioned this yesterday. Did you know the feds have banned Memorial Day event to honor fallen heroes from the National Cemetery? And under the Biden administration, they're calling this ban a demonstration. They're saying when you gather for any kind of celebratory that involves religion, they're categorizing that a demonstration. I kid you not. Since the 1960s, the Night of Columbus have held a Memorial Day event at the Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Petersburg, Virginia. And for the last 2 years, under Mr. JoJo, the National Park Service has refused permission. Now, how come since 1960 up till 2 years ago it was cool? And all of a sudden now, they're labeling it religious services and are calling this ceremony to honor the nation's fallen heroes a demonstration. Now, what strikes a chord with me, maybe it doesn't you, they're allowing all this pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, all across the country, on our college campuses and places all across the country. But on Memorial Day, they're denying people the opportunity to respect soldiers that died for this country. I just got a problem with that. Maybe I'm the only one, but you might want to contact the Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Petersburg, Virginia, and let them know, hey, we got a problem with that. Now, this is something I was kind of expecting because I don't know if you've noticed, the Anthony Fauci's friends are few and far between now. He went from being the everyone wanted to be around Anthony Ouchie Fauci is what I called him because he liked to give you all those shots. Ouchie Fauci. But anyway, healthcare geyser permanent. Anyway, in a desperate plea, begs unvaccinated doctors who previously were fired over draconian COVID vaccine mandates to please come back. That's right, Kaiser is one of those places that went with all the DEI and all that stuff. You know, if you don't follow art, you're fired. Get out of here. Well, they're having a problem. And it's an astonishing display of bureaucratic backpedaling. Kaiser Permanente, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway, one of America's largest healthcare providers, is now desperately inviting back the very doctors it unceremoniously dismissed for their refusal to comply with the COVID vaccine infection injections. They didn't want the infection injections, and primarily for three reasons. One, they were not FDA approved. Secondly, back when COVID came out, they weren't even calling them vaccinations. If you remember, Hollywood dubbed them the jab. Get the jab. Because they knew it was not FDA approved and they weren't considered vaccinations. Thirdly, they would not give the people a list of what's inside of the jab. So with that said, the letter dated May 17, 2024 signals a complete overhaul of this company's stance on mandatory vaccinations. It states that due to the changes in the federal, state, and local vaccine requirements or recommendations, the draconian policy that once demanded all employees to be vaccinated against the COVID-19 as a condition of employment has been scrapped. Now, vaccination is merely optional, though employees must still report their vaccination status annually. Now, I don't know about you. If they fired me and I already found other employment, would you go back to those nut jobs? I don't think so. There may be someone that's still unemployed and need a job and go back. But if you found employment somewhere else and that letter came to me that basically says, but you still have to report your annual vaccination, that's just basically saying, but the next time this rolls around, we'll probably fire you again. But the tone of the letter is almost apologetic, a stark contrast to that rigid mandate, get the shot or you're out of here. Now, when this was going down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I had a lot of my friends I went to high school with here. I went to Red Bank High School here in Chattanooga, and I graduated the class of '84. Hear us roar. And by the way, Ted Gatewood and the Red Bank Lions, my money's on you guys. You got to get past that second round in the playoffs this year, okay? Anyway, I digress. But we need so much to have these kind of information moments because when they start backpedaling, Big Pharma, and the only reason they're doing this is because they don't have enough doctors. It's obvious if they could have continued on moving forward, they would have probably not said a word. But because they fired so many doctors. Now, let me ask you, put on your common sense hat with you. If doctors and nurses are refusing to take a supposed new medicine from a virus, if a doctor in the medical field has a problem, should that not raise the alarm bells across the nation? I think so. So anyway, you might want to check the article out. It says, given the revision to the vaccine policy, we wanted to inform you that you are eligible to rehire with Kaiser for open and available positions for which you are qualified if you choose to reapply. So, interesting. I don't know about you, but hearing the liberals, any kind of humble pie, it's kind of sweet because they don't do it often. They love to stick together. They love to humiliate, dox, grind, and obliterate the conservative or the opposing viewpoints. They don't believe in free speech. They believe in their speech, and that's it. That's why they hand out whistles and blowhorns when conservatives try to speak. Speaking of that, tonight at 7 o'clock, Donald Trump is attempting a very risky thing. He's going to be speaking in New York, in the Bronx, in one of the boroughs there. As he speaks, it's going to be interesting because a Republican hasn't won New York since Reagan. And before Reagan, it was a drought. For a Republican to gain ground in New York, things would have to happen. But we'll talk about that later in the show. Trump is gaining ground with not just the minorities, but with professional women, which used to be sacred cows for the left. Not happening now. Speaking of interesting, Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake. I think they're married, or maybe they just have babies together. But anyway, they might have one of those common law marriages. But they left Hollywood to avoid getting hammered by paparazzi. The center star and former NSYNC member spent much of their time in Montana, and guess where else? Hello, Tennessee. That's right. Nashville is now the fastest growing city in the country. And the sad thing is they're bringing a lot of their lip-lock liberal policies with them because Nashville was already blue. But I think they're trying to turn Tennessee in general purple, meaning and that's when you get red and blue mixed. Because Memphis and Nashville, definitely Democratic. Chattanooga, we're holding our own here. We'll see. Knoxville, still kind of yakky yak. But Murfreesboro and some of the other big communities and cities across Tennessee that used to be deep red, they're definitely branding their, if you want to call it, their left missionaries. Some of you call them Swifties. Taylor Swift and her liberal genre and her messages. We'll see what happens. But Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel made big move for their children. Okay. And they quoted, I don't think they necessarily respect that if we're out and about with our kids, she explained. Evidently, when you try to go out in Hollywood and shop or just go have a family day, they got harassed. They're not getting harassed as much in Tennessee. Probably because Tennesseans, we have a life, okay? And that's why I'm from Chattanooga. I'm a Tennessean, and I'm not just a Tennessee fan. But we enjoy life. I've got a Harley. People like to hunt, fish. We have things to do in Tennessee. Whereas in Hollywood, all they do is either bum or they gaze at the people. You don't hear much in Hollywood doing it. And I guess they have the wine. That's about it. So anyway, that's interesting as they're grazing out of there, and it's amazing. A lot of folks are leaving Hollywood. Newly released emails reveal that John Kerry and Obama administration blocked FBI from arresting dangerous Iranian colluding terrorists at least 8 times. Is this a shockaroo to anybody? I don't think so. To know that Obama and John Kerry, is anyone? I mean, seriously, if the FBI knocked on your door and you had time, you'd probably want to do 2 things. Call your lawyer and call a friend and say, hey, I'm about to be harassed by the bullies of the federal government. Because that's pretty much what they are. The used to FBI was a respected group. Now everybody sees them as thugs. So is anyone shockaroo that John Kerry and Obama administration blocked FBI from arresting dangerous Iranians? I don't think they blocked. I think it was an agreement. You're not going to tell me that Obama and them, because the higher level of FBI is pretty much stagnant. I think we're finding more and more out. The James Comey, that upper level, they're not good guys. Especially, I don't understand how James Comey was a registered communist from college onward. How did we put a registered communist as a director of the FBI? Pause. Just asking. I don't understand that. Other than the fact that people up there with him, birds of a feather flock together. But in March 2018, Barack Obama, a.k.a. his real name, Barry Soetoro, former Secretary of State John the Kerry, who married into the Heinz fortune, the Heinz condiments, ketchup, etc. That's why he has so much money. He married into it. His wife is loaded. And they were caught secretly meeting with Iranian officials, shockaroo, right? And to salvage Iran's nuclear weapons program. Kerry was working against the Trump administration to salvage Obama's Iran nuclear deal that funded terrorism across the Middle East. Now, this would have been right in the middle of Donald Trump's campaign in 2018. And don't forget, in 2018, for the first time in 75 years, America was the number one under Trump with gas, clean coal, and natural gas, petroleum, clean coal, and natural gas. For the first time in 75 years, we were the number one exporter and we were the number one energy providers in the world. Okay? So what was Obama and John Kerry doing? Going to a foreign nation, Iran, not our friend, okay? They're a part of this Palestine from the river to the sea group. With me? So are you seeing now why you're having this global response? Because you had global leaders. See, when you're out of office, the presidents of America, they still have a lot of contacts. The Clintons, the Obamas, except Jimmy Carter. He was such a loser. Nobody wanted to be seen with him. I'll be back.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Justice Department is expected to file an antitrust lawsuit against Live Nation, the owner of Ticketmaster, as early as today. The DOJ could take several actions, from demanding that the company halt any illegal practices to pursuing a more drastic measure of asking a court to break up the company. This action follows allegations that the company has abused its position as a concert promoter, ticket seller, and venue owner to suppress competition, leading to reduced consumer choice and higher ticket prices. The lawsuit is a response to public outcry, notably after Ticketmaster's mishandling of ticket sales for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour in 2022, leading to significant backlash from fans and politicians.
Oh, politicians. Speaking of politicians, a new whistleblower releases from the Ukraine, and you can go to the AKA face shots on X. But this is the kickbacks that a Ukraine official has just released. These are people you would recognize and how much money they get when money goes into the Ukraine, how much is coming back to them. Are you ready? Joe Biden, $92 million. Mitch McConnell, $89 million. Nancy Pelosi, $86 million. Chuck Schumer, $66 million. Lindsey Graham, $82 million. Mitt Romney, his son has a job in Ukraine at one of the energy companies. Yeah, Mitt Romney, $71 million. John Cornyn, $41 million. Adam the Shifter, Mr. Pencilneck, is only at $62 million. Shocker. I thought he'd be higher. Dan Crenshaw, the one-patch supposed patriot, $20 million. Yep. Elizabeth Cheney, no shocker, $77 million. Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, $42 million. Pausing on that guy. Kevin McCarthy, $42 million. Jamie Raskins, $38 million. And this one, I'm not shocked, but you might be, Mike the Pence. That's right, preacher boy from Indiana, $61 million in kickbacks from the Ukraine. Greg Pence, his brother, $17 million. Got to bring the family in. Rick Scott, $63 million from Florida. He's supposed to be a conservative as well. Hakeem the Jeffries, $74 million. Ilhan Omar, $33 million. And Elizabeth Warren, a.k.a. Pocahontas, $42 million. The Ukraine official, this is being released on X as we speak, so you might be seeing more of that. But I think we're all knowing that. We send so much money, all these billions to the Ukraine. You know it's not just going to the Ukraine. It's kicking back. And don't forget the big scandal, was it the FTX scandal? The money went to the Bahamas, and all that money that Zelensky supposedly invested, and it came back on midterm election day, shockaroo, in 2022, and it just disappeared on a midterm election day. Billions of dollars just disappeared. Maybe it disappeared in some of these offshore accounts. The other thing I'll tell you to please research, check for yourself. At one time it was 76%. I'm not sure now, but we had at one time 76% of your Congress and senators that were dual citizens. Now, Israel is one of the main places they're a dual citizen with. But like Dianne Feinstein, now she's passed with China. You had some that were dual citizen with different countries. And you may ask, why would they want to be a dual citizen? You see, my friend, this is why, because they can hide their money. The IRS can only tax what you claim as an American citizen. Savvy? You have a dual citizenship with Ichabod down the road country, you can hide money, especially in family names, your kid's name, etc. Just saying. Educate yourself. Very, very disappointed in some of the names on that list. Oh, well, let's shift gears here. Ladies, see what you think. How many of you are into weight loss? Some of you getting these super-duper injections that's supposed to help you lose weight? Well, Nestle says, I want in on that.
Nestle, the world's largest food company behind such brands as DiGiorno Pizza, Hot Pockets, and Stouffer's, is releasing a line of new frozen food products targeting a specific group of people, those taking weight loss drugs. Nestle announcing it will begin to market $5 pizzas and protein-enriched pastas to American shoppers who use weight loss medications like Wegovy and Ozempic. They will be under a new brand called Vital Pursuits, described as food solutions, complementing the eating habits of millions of Americans who are prescribed a weight loss drug. The products are set to hit store shelves in October.
So I don't know where you're at on that. Most of the people I know that are taking this shot, it's a couple of guys, but a lot of women are. And what you have to be is a full-blown diabetic for your insurance to pay. You may have heard this. The Kelly Clarkson and Whoopi Goldberg debate brought a lot of light to this because Kelly Clarkson kind of let folks know, I think that she was on Ozempic or whatever that weight loss program is. But she was actually on this. It's pronounced kind of weepy. But anyway, it's a shot you give yourself, and it kind of neutralizes your appetite. Now the side effects are pretty bad: vomiting, migraine headaches, blah blah blah. There's an impossible chance of heart attack. I mean, you list the side effects; they're up there. But people are taking these shots, and people have lost 60 to 100 pounds. But it takes quite a while because basically what you're doing is you're shooting your stomach with this, and you're basically saying, "Oh, I feel full." You're tricking your body, and so you don't eat as much. Okay, it's basically giving you false self-control. But what happens is, because my doctor, who's a nutritionist as well, he explained to me what happens is when you come off the shot, most folks go back to their regular eating habits, and they've not learned self-discipline, and they put the weight back on. I don't know. I guess time is out, but here's my concern, and it's just Macil opinion. But I say this to you all the time. Say with me the word Food and Drug Administration. Food and drugs under the same administration. And after we just had this recent COVID-19 plandemic, not pan, but P-L-A-N, plandemic. More and more is coming out on Fauci. You know, Dr. Birx, the scarf lady, in her book, she's admitting they lied to Trump, that the virus did come from China, and her book's throwing Fauci under the bus. The different things that have been coming out, and I shared with you in the last segment. So what my whole point in all this is be careful, because I don't know if I would want to be taking any shots of any kind that the Food and Drug Administration just approved under Biden. That's just me. Take that with a grain of salt, however you want to take it. But I believe there's going to come a time where we're all going to look back and say, hey, some of this stuff is causing other things that maybe we don't want. Well, LeBron James came out. I don't normally agree with the king, but he said this, and I agree with him.
LeBron James has some serious opinions about Caitlin Clark. Here's what he said about the new WNBA star. After doing incredible work for the Iowa Hawkeyes, Clark became the #1 draft pick in the WNBA and was quickly scooped up by the Indiana Fever. Fans have been more than eager to watch her professional career, as her college run proved how talented she was. Now that the 2024 WNBA season has kicked off, all eyes have been on Clark, even those of the greatest to ever take the court. During an episode of Mind the Game, LeBron James said,
"The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch."
And he basically told him, hey, don't mess this up. And it was followed up with Charles the Barkley, the round mound from Alabama.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters.
And he goes on to say what all Caitlin Clark has done. What they're referring to is there's a lot of the veterans and stuff in the league that are, I guess, jealous. There was actually a team the other night that refused to shake her hand. And she just signed the biggest basketball deal with Wilson. There hasn't been an athlete since Michael Jordan that had a signature basketball and Wilson basketball. She's now got her own shoe with Nike. all boats rise, but for some reason there are those that are very envious and skeptical, and it just makes you go, that's sad. But ladies, if you're out there and you're trying to lose weight, I just want to encourage you, and guys, be wise. Use some common sense, but nothing beats walking, a little exercise, cutting back on the sweets and the breads, and I think you can do it. I have faith in you. Well, we're coming up on the break. Don't forget my book, Move Your Mountains, Learn the Journey of Faith That Can Overcome. This is Thursday. I'll be back, and Memorial Day's coming. I hope you've got something in planned for your family, but don't forget to respect your veterans if they live in your neighborhood or in your family, and the widows of veterans. Show them some love. I'll be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories.
Making your thing happen. Really going.
The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
And on social media of millennials saying they make more than they ever have, but still can't make ends meet.
But I'm making the most money I ever had my entire life. My husband and I, between the two of us, gross, make over $80,000 a year. And if you told me a few years ago that $80,000 a year was not going to be enough for a family of 4.
I make more than what I made back in 2015, but I am still literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet.
So a lot of millennials are saying money is tight. Well, the other thing we're finding out is the recent college graduates are having a tough time finding jobs. This is ABC News with a quick report that the graduates have a diploma, but nowhere to hang it.
Thousands of college graduates donned their caps and gowns this weekend with a diploma in hand. The future of our workforce is now preparing to start their professional careers. Thank you for choosing KTSM 9 News at 6. I'm Andy Morgan.
And I'm Monica Cortez. Statistics indicate a strong market. However, some experts say new graduates should brace for obstacles in their job search. KTSM 9 News reporter Tirsa Ortiz is live in our studio with what the class of 2024 can expect. Hey, Tirsa.
Andy, Monica, with a low unemployment rate and raise in salaries for degree holders, this should be a recipe for a hot job market. But that's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. Experts are recommending that new graduates should stay adaptable in this challenging labor market.
So there's a problem. Kids are graduating, but there's no jobs. Now, some are saying it's because of AI. Because we're still technically maybe in a type recession. Don't know, but some people that are graduating, well, let me go ahead and say Indian students in the U.S. are struggling to get jobs as well. This is a foreign correspondent.
In the United States are struggling to land jobs and even internships this summer amid a slowdown in job growth in the world's largest economy. Many students, including those from elite Ivy League universities, have failed to get an internship offer so far, which is considered crucial to gain on-job experience before stepping into the highly competitive job market. But why is it that after investing so much time and money, Indian students find it difficult to find employment in the US, in the UK, while they're abroad? Well, as experts point out, a major reason is that the global economic slowdown has severely hit entry-level job opportunities.
So entry-level job opportunities. Internships are down. Entry-level jobs are hurting. Because what's happened is a lot of jobs are cutting back. I've got a good friend that lost his job. He didn't do anything wrong, but he was one of the in management, and he said they took a little bit out of management. They took a little out of each tier, and because the bottom dollar. And what they've done in these times is, they cut jobs, and then people that are able to keep their jobs, they say, listen, you better keep up. So they increase responsibilities. And it's just the way that's just the way it is. So what you're finding out is a lot of these kids that went to these high-level schools, they're having a tough time getting jobs. And it's very sad, but there is a group of kids that are having no problem getting jobs. And 85 students to graduate from a trade school with jobs already in hand. I don't know if you guys remember when Donald Trump said he thinks we should invest more in trade schools because he said, they don't have the politics. And, you didn't notice any Palestinian from the river to the sea demonstrations at any trade schools. It was only those upper-level echelon schools that you pay $1 zillion to get a degree from. Is it not interesting? Check out this story about the common folks that are doing better.
Here, where college seniors are busy trying to find their first job after graduation day, but at one college in Delaware County, almost every student has already landed a job even before graduation. Here's Chris O'Connell.
So that's a 40,000-gallon tank of water. That water's used for our cooling water for our condenser.
Spending a year at a state school, Alex Whiteman knew a four-year university wasn't for him.
When I went to Westchester that 1 year, I just knew it wasn't for me with all the debt.
So Alex traded in his textbooks and research papers for steam boilers and electrical turbines. He's a graduating senior at the Williamson College of Trades just outside of Media.
And that was one of the things, my dad, he was in the construction industry, and I always grew up seeing him working hard, and I always knew myself I wanted to work hard just like my father.
Whiteman is graduating from Williamson.
Did you catch that? I wanted to work hard just like my father. Dads, be a man. Teach your kid about hard work.
Industry, and I always grew up seeing him working hard, and I always knew myself I wanted to work hard just like my father. working hard, and I always knew myself I wanted to work hard just like my father.
Whiteman is graduating from Williamson next week and will start his job at a power plant 5 days later. Since 1888, the 3-year male-only college has been providing intensive training in 6 trade programs, campus buildings devoted to working classrooms like carpentry, a workshop for stone and masonry, a steam-fired power plant, and the meticulous campus grounds kept up by landscaping and horticulture students.
So you got to ask yourself, trade schools. And as I said, Trump mentioned these before, but maybe we should go back to having apprenticeships and trade schools, because trying to get everyone on this higher education, all it's done is got folks high and mighty. The things they seem to push is diversity, equity, inclusion. They push this white privilege stuff, and people are not getting jobs. And that's what's so tragic and sad. And for instance, you have this one Hollywood. She's trying to brag or say that she's middle class. She's worth $95 million and thinks she's middle class. Check it out and listen for yourself.
And Cynthia, how can you use your platform and your celebrity to shed the light on something that is important to you and that is not what the public knows you best for? How do you do that?
Look, I mean, I'm white, I'm privileged, I'm middle class, and
I'm white, I'm privileged, I'm middle class.
And
Kate Blanchett baffles fans at the Caneys. Kate Blanchett is in slam. She's mocked. Kate Blanchett, what is considered middle class? $50,000 to $150,000. You know how much money she makes? $95 million. 95.
Middle class. What the hell are you?
$95 million. This is the stupidity. This is what they're learning in these higher level schools. Now, again, did you hear what she said at the very beginning?
And Cynthia, how can you use your platform and your celebrity to shed the light on something that is important to you and that is not what the public knows you best for? How do you do that?
Look, I mean, I'm white, I'm privileged, I'm middle class. White, I'm privileged, I'm middle class. White, I'm privileged, I'm middle class.
She makes $95 million, but says she's white, privileged, and middle class. But if you go to the definition of middle class, it says someone that makes between $50,000 and $150,000. I think $95 million puts her a little bit out of that category. Now, she might think she's definitely white. She might think she's privileged. That's her choice to make those kind of definitions. But to say she's middle class, that is what these actors do. And don't forget, that's what they get paid to do. They're actors. So they act out. Because even like Joe Behar, what she said I thought was hilarious to Bill Maher. And he kind of told her, no, you need to be real with your audience.
So, but I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden. I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence? You might, influence people who are on the fence.
I think you lose all credibility.
Thank you, Bill Maher. I think you lose all credibility. So these actors and Hollywood people that make in the millions, but then try to act like they understand our life, they don't understand our life. They have no clue of struggling. Maybe they did back in the day, but not, when they're making all this money. And I think it's interesting that we keep this in mind as we're moving forward. Big decisions to be made in 2024. And I pray each and every one of you will be wise because jobs are just one of the things, career choices. That's so important. And Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court judge, he had this statement for the graduates of 2024. Here is Clarence Thomas trying to tell graduates, if you have a 2024 graduate, Go to YouTube, look up PragerU, Clarence Thomas, a great quick message on courage.
Class of 2024, it is an honor to address you. Though I completed my formal education many years ago, I think there are some things that endure despite the passage of time. Courage is one of those things. As Winston Churchill wrote almost a century ago, courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities, because it is the quality which guarantees all others. In your young lives, you will face challenges, personal, professional, even spiritual. How will you deal with them? I encourage you to think of the people in your lives who have shown courage in the face of adversity and challenges. When I think of the people in my own life who demonstrated courage, I think first and foremost of my grandfather, the greatest man I've ever known. At the beginning of my career here in Washington, D.C., I sought his advice and counsel. It was during my first encounters with the onslaught of criticism and public attacks. I asked my grandfather how I should handle it. His words were as wise as they were pithy. Son, you have to stand up for what you believe in.
Very true. We'll be back. Way to go, Clarence Thomas.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When you travel with Recall, everything is perfect. So what do you say? All right. Smart move.
An AI-powered tool giving a total recall of everything you've done on your computer. Microsoft this week unveiled the new Windows 11 feature that does just that. New Windows 11 feature that this week unveiled the new Windows 11 feature. This week unveiled the new Windows 11 feature that does just that. Dubbed Recall, it takes continuous snapshots of your activity, tracking what you see and do on your computer. Log in a database of every action, search you've performed, or live meeting you've had. Simply perform a recall action and get a snapshot of your past activity with context. The goal? To make research and documentation easier for the user. Microsoft says not to worry, though, with promises the company will protect users' privacy. You'll have the option to filter out what you don't want tracked. The CEO told the Wall Street Journal he believes the use of the technology should be up to each individual user.
And I think we are at the very early stages of understanding how our relationship with AI agents should be shaped by us primarily.
Microsoft's AI announcement comes on the heels of several big AI reveals in recent weeks. Both Google and Apple are racing to bring the tech to more daily users. Microsoft's latest offering appears to continue to ramp up that competition. Recall will be available on select computers by June 18th. The company predicts 50 million of the AI PCs will be sold in the next 12 months. For Straight Arrow News, I'm...
So, what do you guys think about that? They're just now announcing, they've been doing this for quite some time, but they're now kind of letting you know that they can they track all that you do. Is anyone stupid enough to not realize that? That's why you tell kids all the time, be careful about sending pictures, inappropriate pictures, things like that. They're on the internet for life. Even after you're gone, they will have access to things of that nature. So be wise, my friends. Well, it's here. The FDA is warning about the bird flu. It's about that time, 5 months away from a presidential election. We've had the radical, because, it was Antifa, then Black Lives Matter, then it was, what was the other wacko group? I can't remember the other wacko group. And then this year it's the Free Palestine. It's always right before the election, these things all of a sudden just poof out of the nowhere, and they get something political movement going that agitates the populace. And there's got to be some kind of medical thing, right? So here we go. It's here. FDA, the Food and Dummy Association, warns 25% kill rate in a new virus. Okay, the FDA Commissioner Dr. Robert Califf issued an anonymous warning on Capitol Hill surrounding bird flu. This virus, like all viruses, is mutating, he told the policymakers, and it should be ready to really scare the crap out of us right before the election so folks won't vote. I'm sorry, I added that. We need to continue to prepare for possibility that it might jump to humans. Remember the bats and all that stuff, and that was proven wrong? Yeah. Well, the real worry is that it will jump to the human lungs, where, when it has happened in other parts of the world, the mortality rate has been 25%. We got to have testing. Got to have antivirals. We need to have vaccines ready to go. So is the pandemic foreshadowing real? One thing is for sure, it seems strategic. Unlike 2020, we have the tools available to defend our health against whatever the genetically engineered disease globalists throw at us next. So you can have a lot of wellness groups out there, but Dr. Peter McCullough, a renowned cardiologist, COVID-19 expert, and chief scientist officer of the wellness company, has developed critical life-saving solutions. As a precaution measure towards potential H5N1 bird flu pandemic, he added that the Tamiflu to the wellness company's contagion emergency kit. And, of course, he's selling an emergency kit with ways to help you combat what he calls kind of convenient viruses. Again, this is 2024, so be ready in 2028. There will be another radical wackadoodle group get mad at half the world and try to cause trouble. There will be another medical health scare, and we will be warned about the end of the world. And then after the election's over, whoop, it's going to go on. It just kind of seems the way. I know I'm sounding very jaded. Is that the word? But I don't know. I've lived enough life to know that when a Democrat's in office, taxes go up. When a Republican's in, we get taxes down. So you buy your houses when a Republican's in office, and you try to hold on when a Democrat's in office. That's just the way it is. And if you can hold on, if Trump gets elected in 2024, that's when you buy your houses, your cars, and your big expenses. And if a Biden or a Hillary Clinton gets in, you try to hold on to what you got, and you save what you can, and you wait till the tax breaks. But that's just the cycle. It's obvious. The Democrats tax, the Republicans relieve you of it. Under Democratic leadership, you have health concerns, you have all these things, and under Republican leadership, you tend not to. Just telling you, see, if you guys cannot be a Democrat or Republican just for a minute and see it, I think you could agree with me. But anyway, it's deja vu. Germany vows to arrest Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu on the ICC orders. So that international court now has got several of these countries coming together saying that they will arrest Netanyahu. I can't hardly say his name right. And at the 5 o'clock hour, I'll be going over with you Ezekiel 38. What the nations, there'll be 8 nations involved in attacking Israel. And you can go to Ezekiel 38 and see some of them. But I'll just go ahead and play a little bit of what we'll be talking about at the 5 o'clock hour. This is the John Ankerberg Show. See what you think.
Well, Magog refers to the southern portion of Russia. If you can imagine Russia right here, go a little bit south where you're going to see the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. There are mountainous regions around these areas, around these lakes, and it's all the Stan nations.
Yeah, let me read your book. Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. That's the land that we're talking about.
Well, that's right. If you have
all the Stans, you got a friend named Stan. Well, tell him there's a lot of countries using his name: Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkestan, your mama Stan. Anyway, they all play a part, and you'll hear at the 5 o'clock hour how the end time in Ezekiel 38. This is some interpretation, I will say. Because some of you are going to be rather shocked, maybe not, that a lot of this is lining up now. But one of the things that happens at the end of time is all the nations will turn on Israel. As you're starting to see, most of all the European nations have said they will be turning on Israel, and it's rather sad. And Norway, Ireland, and Spain just recently announced that they're in on this anti-Israel movement.
Today, Ireland, Spain, and Norway announced they will recognize a state of Palestine.
Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision.
So you got Norway, Ireland, and Spain doing a 3 prime minister joint press conference saying that they are now for a Palestinian state, and they go on to talk about they will follow the international court's, arrest. The other thing I brought out on my show, and please look it up for yourself, is George Clooney's wife. She is a lawyer, and she does international law, and she's in a lot of these super progressive groups. She actually helped write up the arrest warrant and helped, and they contributed some financing towards the movement to have the Prime Minister of Israel an arrest warrant. Seriously. So if the Prime Minister of Israel travels to certain countries, they have vowed they will arrest him and detain him to be put on trial for crimes against humanity, that he somehow has been unkind to Hamas, even though it was Hamas on October 7th that hang glided in with machine guns and opened up fire on those 300 students and young adults at a music festival, raped, pillaged, beat up, butchered people. Somehow that's Israel's fault. And then Israel responds, and again, they're told now, surrender. If you know the two things that they keep saying at these college Palestinian things, they want an immediate ceasefire. Why? Because they know that Israel will kick their butts. And the second thing they demand is that America stops any financial agreements or deals with Israel. They want them completely froze out financially. Those are the two. You hear those demands repeated or recycled through all these protests. Biblical, my friends. Very, very biblical. I'll be back after the break. This is the Macil Duncan Show. Coming up at 4 o'clock, a live call-in from the SEC baseball tournament. My on-the-field reporter, Doug Henshaw, will be telling us how Tennessee did and what's going on at the baseball tournament in Alabama.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course.
Serving you clarity through context, our mission.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Macil Duncan. Welcome back to the show. And we'll be having a call in from my friend Doug Henshaw, who is in Alabama at the SEC baseball tournament. And as he's there, we will be hearing more about what's going on there in the baseball tournament. And it's interesting as you look at the baseball tournament. Tennessee went in ranked number 1. And I think what I was told by Doug by phone earlier is that we chose to use pitchers we haven't used in a while, and that's why we got beat. We used some of the lesser talent. Don't know. Someone said that's an excuse. Well, just saying what I was told. But here's the brackets as I have pulled up. In the bracket 1, you had Georgia versus LSU, and LSU won. Alabama played South Carolina, and South Carolina won. And Vanderbilt played Florida, and Vanderbilt won. And then Mississippi State played Ole Miss, and Mississippi State won. That was the first round. In the second round, Kentucky played LSU, and Kentucky won. Arkansas played South Carolina, and then they're going to now face Tennessee, and that's going to be interesting. Tennessee beat Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt beat Tennessee, so that put an LSU versus South Carolina match. And Texas A&M and Mississippi State has to play, then Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. And so what we're looking at now, if you want to call it a Final Four almost, Kentucky has now beaten Arkansas. They're the first one in, if you want to call that Final Four. Tennessee and Texas A&M are battling now, and the game may be ending. And the winner of Tennessee-Texas A&M will play Kentucky. And then LSU plays South Carolina for one of the spots. And then Vanderbilt versus Mississippi State for the other. So we'll let you know. But right now, Kentucky has sealed the deal to be in the Final Four, if you will, of the baseball 2024 tournament. And we'll see how that goes. And so he'll be calling in shortly. Now, to bring you some quick news that's developing as we speak, Taiwan has been surrounded. The China military surrounds Taiwan and begins punishment drills to warn the new president. Check this out.
China launched 2 days of so-called punishment drills against Taiwan. Turns out China's not too fond of Taiwan's newly inaugurated president Lai Ching-te's separatist attitudes towards China. China sees Taiwan as part of its national territory. Lai does not agree, saying as much in his inauguration speech on Monday and telling China to essentially knock it off with the threats and asserting neither Taiwan nor China are subordinate to each other. But China only ramped up the threats, showing its displeasure with Lai's attitude and remarks Thursday by aggressively surrounding Taiwan with warships, planes, and jets, all performing combat drills. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense counted 49 Chinese military aircraft, 15 Navy vessels, and 16 Coast Guard vessels. Taiwan quickly responded, positioning jets and missile systems and putting ground forces on alert, ready for any further escalation. The going theory is China wants to show off its ability to set up a blockade around Taiwan. One military expert said these drills may just be a signal, adding the real punishment may be yet to come.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, Donald Trump would acknowledge Taiwan as an independent country. This really made China upset. And so the two things that Donald Trump did that probably infuriated China, well, actually three, is when he went and met with Kim Jong-un and he crossed over the demilitarized zone. Do you remember that? Donald Trump wanted to show that he and Kim Jong-un had actually met some kind of a peace agreement. Up till that time, presidents of the United States relied on China to be the heavy arm controlling Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans. And so when Donald Trump kind of went around Xi and said, listen, I think I can handle him. And remember, he used to make fun, call him Rocket Man and all that. Well, that all stopped. he got, and if you remember, North Korea stopped doing all those test launches, all that stuff stopped under Donald Trump. The second thing Donald Trump did that made China upset was when they went into and said Taiwan's an equal nation. They are their own and recognize their independence. Even his Secretary of State as well said that. And we opened up the Taiwan chip factory in Arizona. See, that's why Arizona is such a key pivotal state. It's a border state for the cartels. It's human sex trafficking, drugs, and you've got the chip factory from Taiwan. And on top of that, you've got Billy Gates building a city. It's going to be a 15-minute city in Arizona from the ground up, and it's going to be real close to the Taiwan chip factory. Savvy? So a lot's happening, and when Donald Trump was president, he was not going along with some of the global viewpoints, and so he took China's strong arm out of North Korea, and he was beginning to out of Taiwan. The third thing Donald Trump did that upset China was when he put the tariffs on them, and so China said, I refuse to buy our farm goods. So what happened? Donald Trump would buy because he increased their tariffs. He used that money to buy farmers' produce here in America, and he gave it. And you're saying, well, Macil, how do you know that's for real? Because our food pantry was one of 4 in the Chattanooga area that received, under Donald Trump's administration, free vegetables. And we get these boxes. They had milk, meat, and vegetables in it from the government. Had a letter from President Trump in Spanish on one side and English on the other, trying to encourage folks having hard times. A little different approach than what we're in now. Those boxes and all that food, the free stuff, stopped on the 3rd week of January 2021. So Joe Biden stopped all the food and all the extra to the pantries and feeding the hungry in America. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention. That's this fact, Jack. So Taiwan is in a pickle right now with, it appears, with China. The FCC is pushing for transparency in the AI-driven ads ahead of the 2024 election. Check this out.
Seeing is no longer believing. AI technology has reached a point where creating realistic images, videos, and audio clips, often called deepfakes, is more common than ever. With the 2024 U.S. elections just 6 months away, how serious a threat is AI when it comes to our politics and disinformation? Artificial intelligence is taking a more visible role in political campaigns, transforming campaign strategies. So the federal government is pushing for greater accountability. The chair of the Federal Communications Commission this week pressing for heightened transparency in how AI is used in campaign materials. Quote, as artificial intelligence tools become more accessible, the Commission wants to make sure consumers are fully informed when the technology is used. Both major U.S. political parties are utilizing AI, from deploying AI voice advertisements to analyzing voter data. Now the increasing awareness of potential technology misuse, especially in creating persuasive deepfakes, is spurring discussions about the need for more stringent regulations. Take this ad from the Never Back Down Super PAC, featuring an AI-generated voice made to sound like Donald Trump, created to support Governor Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign.
I opened up the governor position for Kim Reynolds, and when she fell behind, I endorsed her, did big rallies, and she won. Now she wants to remain neutral. I don't invite her to events.
The proposed FCC regulations would require political advertisements on radio, TV, and cable to clearly disclose any AI-generated content. The FCC, however, does not have authority to regulate internet or social media ads. This comes as the FCC fined Steve Kramer $6 million for his role in the AI-generated robocalls that mimicked President Joe Biden's voice ahead of the New Hampshire primaries to discourage voter turnout. Kramer, a political consultant for Democratic presidential longshot Dean Phillips, also faces 24 criminal charges in New Hampshire.
Well, that's a shockaroo. A Democrat being somehow arrested or legally held accountable for potential election fraud. How about that? So, not that I want to see anyone go to jail that's not guilty, but anyway, AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be a futuristic thing we have to deal with. And some have asked me, Macil, do you think the Antichrist could possibly be AI? I don't know. Anything's possible. It makes it sound like AI would be a human when you read about it in Revelations, but you never know. It says that the AI, the artificial intelligence, not necessarily, but the Antichrist will do miracle-like things that will shock the world. And with the ability of the computer age, they're able to perform things and do things in the sky. They've got these cameras and reflections. They said they can probably actually put together Jesus, a like figure on a white horse. That would really freak people out. Interesting. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I just thought you'd be interested. The FCC is pushing, for transparency with the upcoming election, and I think they need to. Boy, wouldn't you just like to have a fair election? Just find out fair and square. I made my wife laugh yesterday on the phone, on the air, when I said, I think you ought to let Chick-fil-A run the elections and let American Idol count the votes, because American Idol is able to find out who wins within minutes. Not our election system. I'll be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Serving you clarity through context, our mission at SAN is to deliver the news straight down the middle. We're different from mainstream media because we spotlight distorted headlines and show you how to do it too. Discover stories that right and left-leaning outlets are choosing not to cover by using our Media Miss tool. Download the SAN app and turn on notifications to have straight facts delivered right to your phone or tablet, and get straight facts anytime at SAN.com.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, my friends. This is Macil Duncan, and this is the Macil Duncan Show, broadcasting live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And as you guys know, I'm a Chattanooga native, and one of my best friends, Doug Henshaw, who went to high school with me, is live at the SEC baseball tournament. And Doug, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. I was looking at the brackets, and it looks like Kentucky's already in the finals. This Tennessee, are they going to beat Texas A&M? What do you think?
Well, it's we got what is it? Bottom of the sixth, and Tennessee's up 3-2. But I've learned since I've been down here, the top 4 seeds coming into the tournament, most of them are not pitching their aces. They're pitching guys that hadn't had much action, and pretty much the top 4 seeds are already in the College World Series that starts next week, or in the regionals that start next week. So I don't. I mean, they want to win, but I don't. They're just giving guys that pitch. They're giving them some time and letting them have some time in the postseason, and they're not really pitching their aces.
So is Tennessee
a little bit.
Is Tennessee still ranked number 1?
I'm not sure. They were number 1 coming into the tournament, but I'm not sure if they still are. I've not looked, but
'cause we got beat by Vanderbilt. Is that correct?
That's correct. Vanderbilt beat Tennessee last night, and but Tennessee pitched a host of different pitchers. Like I said, it was guys that hadn't pitched much all year. And I think Coach Tennessee had said coming into the tournament that he was going to, let some guys pitch that hadn't pitched much this year.
What is there any team out there? It's kind of a surprise. Anybody shocking the world?
Well, it's not really a surprise, but LSU, they kind of have bragging rights for this tournament historically. They've come into this tournament pretty hot. They won the last 7 or 8 of their regular season games, and they haven't been beat yet. I think they play next. So if you're a Cajun fan, you're pretty excited.
Well, my buddy Mike Carter, who works for the 700 Club, he is up in Virginia, but he's an LSU fan. He loves to let me know when LSU especially beats Tennessee. Now, in the softball, didn't LSU beat Tennessee, beat the Lady Vols?
I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up with the softball.
Okay.
But I have been keeping up with the baseball a little bit.
So if Tennessee were to win and beat Texas A&M, they would then play Kentucky?
I haven't looked at the bracket. That's a good question. But, yeah, it's, Tennessee has to win, and they'll play tomorrow. And then, of course, the finals will be on Sunday.
Excuse me. It says Kentucky plays the loser of Game 11.
Okay.
So they would play whoever loses, and the winner of Game 11 automatically goes to the Final Four. So I mispronounced. Kentucky is not in the Final Four. They would have to play the loser of 11 to get in, and the winner of Tennessee, Texas A&M gets to the Final Four.
Yes.
And then the winner of LSU, South Carolina, will face the loser of Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and the winner automatically advances. So there's still a few games to play. Now, you go every year to the SEC baseball tournament. Is that right?
Yeah, this is my 4th year. My son moved down here about 5 years ago for his job, and so he's got dad tickets the last 4 years. The great thing was I was here in 2022 when Tennessee won it all here in the SEC tournament. That was exciting. But
so
yeah, this I've been coming for about 4 years.
So I'm not finding. Let's see, Alabama's in there. Is Auburn doing well?
The Auburn and Missouri did not make the tournament.
Okay, so Alabama, are they out?
Yes, Alabama's out. They got I think the first day, Tuesday, is single elimination, and then if you win past that first day, it's double elimination, and then it goes back to single elimination Saturday.
So Alabama, the state of Alabama is hosting, but none of no Alabama team is actually in the tournament this time.
That's correct. Well, it's been the tournament's been down here in Hoover for many years.
Okay, well I'm just saying. So any Roll Tide Roll people out there, they're already hurting because of all the recruits they're losing after Saban, and now their baseball team sucks. So Alabama fans, I have absolutely no sympathies for you. And I just like to rub it in when I can that Alabama got beat in the first round, and their baseball team El Stinkaroo, and Auburn didn't even make it. So I guess they're a football state. They're definitely not a baseball state. Would that be a fair statement?
You said it.
I could say it. It's my show, but I've got Alabama and Auburn fans that'll probably light me up, but that's okay. They love to tease because Tennessee. We own the name Choke. If you look at Choke in the dictionary, I think they'll have a Tennessee Vol emblem. Because we always. I don't know. I drink the hopium every year, Doug. Every year I drink hopium, saying this is the year, and then we choke. So before I drink the hopium on the supposed #1 Vols, do you think we can win this thing?
Well, we're still in it. We're still in it.
And so no matter win or lose, we're going to be in the World Series.
The good news is Tennessee will host a regional tournament in Knoxville next week. That's the good news.
Ah, so we don't know who we're playing, of course, yet, right?
No, that hasn't been decided yet, but several of the SEC teams will be in the College World Series next week.
Now, we do know for a fact it will not be Alabama or Auburn, right?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Said we know for a fact it will not be Alabama or Auburn.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if University of Alabama will be. They may be in the tournament next week, but definitely not Auburn.
What about Georgia? Is Georgia doing any good?
Yes, Georgia will be in the tournament next week for sure.
Okay,
yes.
So I can't make fun of Georgia. The Bulldoggers, Steve R. Johnson, he bleeds red, crimson. The Georgia, whatever the color their red is. Well, hey,
this isn't 100%, but there's a good chance that just about every SEC team, except for Missouri, Auburn, the good chance the rest of them will be in the tournament. That's not 100%, but there's some that they call on the bubble. Depends on what they do in this tournament, but a good chance a lot of SEC teams will be in the tournament next week.
Now LSU is they're going to be a good team in the tournament, right?
They've not had a good year. They're coming off a national championship, as you know, last year, so they've just had a mediocre season, but they come into this tournament. They've won like the last 7 or 8 of their games, and they haven't been beat yet. So they're doing really well.
Well, I'm shocked that Arkansas's #2 and Kentucky's #3, because Tennessee's 1 going in, Arkansas and Kentucky. Is that normal for Arkansas and Kentucky to have good baseball teams?
Not really Kentucky, although Kentucky the last 3 or 4 years have been really well. But Arkansas is usually really good. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, those schools are usually pretty strong in baseball.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Hey, before I let you go, the game, the SEC championship, when will it be played? Will it be Sunday?
I couldn't hear you. Do what now?
Will the SEC championship game be this Sunday?
Yes, it'll be Sunday. Yes.
Okay, and then when that's all done, Tennessee will host one of the early World Series rounds.
They have what they call regional tournaments throughout the country, and Tennessee will host a regional tournament in Knoxville.
Are you going to go to that?
I'm not sure if I'll be able to go to that, but I try not to miss this tournament down here. It's just really fun.
Well, if you go, let me know, and you can call in and give us an update from Knoxville, too.
Sounds good, buddy. You have a great day.
You too, pal. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was my friend Doug Henshaw, who is in Alabama, and reporting live that Tennessee is still playing against Texas A&M. And right now, Kentucky is the winner. It advanced. They beat Arkansas. The winner of Tennessee and Texas A&M gets a bye and gets in the Final Four automatically. The loser will play Kentucky. And then LSU South Carolina winner will get to the Final Four of the SEC tournament. The loser will then play the loser of Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. Anyway, you can go check out the bracket yourself. It's online. Go to SEC Network and keep up with your baseball knowledge there. We're about to go to a break. This is the Macil Duncan Radio Show, live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Move Your Mountains is my book. Learn the journey of faith that can overcome. And we'll get ready. And don't forget, the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about the nations that biblically are probably going to turn if we have the Bible prophecy correct. And I'm using John Ankerberg as a source, very biblically accurate for the most part. And I think it's going to be interesting. So we'll be back for a little bit here following the 4 o'clock hour. But at 5 o'clock sharp, we will talk about what nations will be involved in the Ezekiel 38 war against Israel. God bless, and I'll be back after these messages.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win and win big if he stands a chance of being reelected.
Groups that are traditionally not thought of as Republicans, say the black community and the Hispanic community. I hate those phrases, but okay, for the purposes of explaining it, that is what it is. They are now breaking towards a certain orange man.
Now, that's the Rubin Report. Let me play for you this testimony of a black lady that says she's voting for Trump.
Live and remote to Donald Trump.
How's your drink? That drink looks beautiful.
It's really good.
It's really
it's
good.
a mocktail.
Mocktail looks
from one
delicious.
of the vendors.
So what was your answer? Why do you stand with Trump?
I stand with Trump because he's basically representing us, and everything that they're doing to him is what they can do to us.
Yeah.
And the system is broken, and he's fighting for us.
They're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way.
So I like his policies. I like how he says it like it is, and Biden gotta go. I'm sick of him.
And what would you say to a black person that says that you're not black because you're voting for Trump?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Well, then I guess I identify as a white man. I don't know. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm a mother. I care about the future of my child, and I care about policies over, rhetoric.
So I don't know if you heard that. She says, I don't care what they say. I'm a mother. And that boils down to that. People are worried about their personal finances. And, what's happening right now with Bidenomics, it's so bad that they're losing ground. Now, here's more of the Rubin Report, and it explains to you how the polls are really freaking out the left.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win and win big if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020.
So that's a loss of 23 points with the black community that the liberals will admit to. Many think it's higher. Check this out, this Hispanics.
Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020.
He only has a 4-point advantage right now, so that's a loss of 17 to 18 points according to liberals.
And among younger voters under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time.
So Trump is up +5 voters under 30. Big bump. Big bump. Now, Nikki Haley actually came out and said she's going to vote for Trump. She had a little sarcasm with the endorsement, but she finally endorsed him.
As a voter, I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border, no more excuses. A president who would support capitalism and freedom. A president who understands we need less debt, not more debt. Trump has not been perfect on these policies. I've made that clear.
Okay. It takes her forever to endorse him. She has to put a few slams in there because I think Sticky Nikki's still hurt that, her affair with her Secret Service protection and the 3 other guys that she slept with, 2 of them in her car, Suburban. I think that's kind of rubbing her raw. And her husband finally came home after she dropped out of the race.
Many, many times. But Biden has been a catastrophe. So I will be voting for Trump. I will be voting for Trump. I will be voting for Trump. I will be voting for Trump.
Nikki.
I will be voting for Trump.
Nikki Haley.
I will be voting for Trump.
Nikki Haley.
I will be voting for Trump.
Oh, Nikki, I wish someone would play my show to her. This is the rest of the Rubin Report talking about the increase of Donald Trump over Biden.
time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
All right, so something is brewing right now. And that, of course, again, is why all the system can do is tell you that the MAGA hat should really be a swastika, and that if you don't like Hillary Clinton, you're a misogynist and the rest of it. Because the average person right now is just looking at Joe Biden going, he's got dementia. We don't like the fact that the base of the party is basically a bunch of terrorists supporting blue-haired, genderqueer weirdos. But more and more people are waking up to all of this.
So that was the Rubin report. And again, this is a guy on the street talking with a lady of color who's explaining that she's voting for Trump and says if they say she's not black, she goes, I'll identify as a white man.
And, you know, and Biden gotta go. I'm sick of him.
And what would you say to a black person that says that you're not black because you're voting for Trump?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Well, then I guess I identify as a white man. I don't know. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm a mother. I care about the future of my child, and I care about policies over, you know, rhetoric.
Well said. Hey, do you know how many times Joe Biden's fallen down on national TV?
I lost count.
Take a guess.
I would say just to be, you know, you said, yeah, just to be conservative.
Yeah.
I would say maybe about 10 times.
Ding, 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 ding. You want a free keychain? Donald Trump keychain. There you go. Thank you for your words.
Thank you, Trump 2024.
Trump is coming again.
Yeah.
So we are here as Africa. We want Trump. We want Trump.
There's a lot more black people that are for Trump too, that don't want to say it out loud.
Well,
there's a lot more black people that want Trump that won't say it out loud, she said. Now, here's Ice Cube. As you guys know, he's a famous a man of color, and he's got some things to say about the upcoming election.
Well, you know, Donald Trump is what Americans love.
I love this guy right here. There's a lot of white people that don't want to say. You should see how many people walk by us and they go like this.
Yeah.
Oh, careful. Or they go around the back. Yeah.
And so, anyway, that was some folks on the street because Donald Trump will be speaking in the Bronx tonight. I think 7 p.m. Eastern if you want to catch the speech. A Republican hasn't won New York since Reagan. And before Reagan, I want to say it was Hoover. It's been a lot of drought. New York has historically been pretty liberal and pretty democratic. So it's going to be interesting to see. But to hear a lady of color explain that she supports Trump, she says Biden's got to go. And if they say she's not black, she says, I'll then identify as a white male. I thought that was hilarious. So anyway, EPA is warning about cyber threats of the water system. See what you think.
Americans' water supply is under serious threats from bad actors around the world, the feds warned this week. The Environmental Protection Agency alerting utilities of serious cybersecurity threats to community drinking water systems. With just a few clicks, hackers can gain access to water control systems, tampering with treatment processes, and disrupting operations. Moves that could not only lead to contaminated supplies and system failures, but also ransom demands and state-sponsored espionage. In 2021, hackers targeted water treatment plants in California and Florida. The first attack deleted programs used to treat drinking water, while the second attempted to poison the water supply. Both attacks were stopped before they could cause harm. Threats to the nation's water systems have escalated recently, primarily driven by several nation-state hacker groups. The cyber army of Russia has been implicated in numerous attacks on critical infrastructure, including an incident in Muleshoe, Texas. In January, a hacktivist group released a video seemingly showing manipulation of pump settings, resulting in the overflow of treatment tanks. Officials confirmed the attack, but said there were no disruptions to service. According to the EPA, 70% of inspected water systems have failed to meet the standards of the Safe Drinking Water Act.
Hello, did you catch that? 70% of drinking water has failed to meet the requirements.
Water systems have failed to meet the standards of the Safe Drinking Water Act. According to the EPA, 70% of according to the EPA, 70% of inspected water systems have failed to meet the standards of the Safe Drinking Water Act. These systems, many with weak login protections, can be easily compromised, making them high-value targets for hackers. The EPA is increasing inspections, enforcing compliance, and setting up critical cybersecurity assistance to the water sector.
So that's something for us to be concerned about, because that is a fact, Jack, that could concern many of us. Don't forget this.
An AI-powered tool is promising to give you a snapshot of every activity you've done on your computer. While many have expressed concerns about privacy issues, there's something you should know. You can turn it off altogether or restrict how it's used.
Microsoft has a new spyware, if you want to be mindful of this, that can track everything you've ever done. It can retrieve anything you've ever done on your computer. And if you don't tell it to stop, it will continue. So something you might want to learn about your Microsoft computer. And we'll talk about stuff like that more when we come back. This is the Macil Duncan Show in Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA Network, and Street Level America.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Well, hello, my friends. This is Macil Duncan, and welcome back to the show. Angry education workers ask high schools to go on strike from school for Gaza. Now, what is going on with all this Palestinian and Gaza rallies? Here is an Islam channel. Hearing what they're promoting.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! No weapon, no!
برا بالدم لفتيك يا أقصى
مو في مثله أموت أنا Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Now these are again. This is on your internet, and it's a Free Palestine. It's an Islam channel, and you got to ask yourself, what is why all this now? I still think it's awful coinky-dinks. Just like you had the Black Lives Matter movement, you had the Antifa movement. There's always a movement right before a presidential election. I'm sorry if I'm skeptical or jaded sounding, but it just appears so awfully convenient to me that that's the case. But the other interesting thing is who is helping with some of this Palestine movement. Just like you have these angry educators, they're asking high schoolers to go on strike from school and to stay home. There's a day in May. They're asking students, I'm going to quit mentioning the date because I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but there's a date in May. They're asking all high schoolers across the country to stay home from school. And then they're going to try to act like they've got this big support from the young generation. And don't forget, Hollywood plays its part. This is Amal Clooney, who helped convince the ICC to issue an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. Ms. Clooney pushed for arrest warrants for Hamas and Netanyahu. Legal activist Amal Clooney reportedly helped get the court to make the decision for war crimes. Clooney announced on the Clooney Foundation Justice website she was asked by the ICC to help write the legal brief. So this is what's going on now. You have actors like the Clooneys using their influence to help persuade international courts to do that.
Amal Clooney in the spotlight again, not for her marriage to George Clooney or her glamorous red carpet style, but for her role as a legal advisor to the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands. The ICC's chief prosecutor requesting arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's defense minister, and 3 senior Hamas leaders for alleged war crimes. Amal Clooney writing, "The law that protects civilians in war was developed more than 100 years ago, and it applies in every country in the world regardless of the reason for a conflict." Adding, "I will never accept that one child's life has less value than another's."
Oh, really? So why aren't you pro-life then, sweet cheeks? I'm just asking for a friend. But the Clooneys love to get involved in politics because George Clooney actually thought of running for president. I don't know if you knew that. And they actually put a think tank together. But you've got so much of this Palestinian movement. You have 3 guys, Norway, Ireland, and Spain, saying they're recognizing Palestine as a state.
Today, Ireland, Spain, and Norway announced they will recognize a state of Palestine.
Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision. In the lead up to today's announcement, I've spoken with a number of other leaders and counterparts, and I'm confident that further countries will join us in taking this important step in the coming weeks.
Hamas called the decision an important step, while Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said it is giving a prize to Hamas and Iran. And he recalled Israel's ambassadors to Norway and Ireland.
So you're having a big global sympathy for the Palestine movement. And a lot of folks they're not understanding, but you've got to take a step back and remind yourself the presidential election's coming. And they always try to confuse and cause disharmony. And some of us fall for it rather easily. I know I have a few times in the past. And I think it's important that we be a little bit wiser than that. And so I just encourage you with that. So keep that in mind. And LeBron James has come out in favor of Caitlin Clark because a lot of the WNBA players are being a little sassy-frass and talking bad about her.
LeBron James has some serious opinions about Caitlin Clark. Here's what he said about the new WNBA star. After doing incredible work for the Iowa Hawkeyes, Clark became the #1 draft pick in the WNBA and was quickly scooped up by the Indiana Fever. Fans have been more than eager to watch her professional career, as her college run proved how talented she was. Now that the 2024 WNBA season has kicked off, all eyes have been on Clark, even those of the greatest to ever take the court. During an episode of Mind the Game, LeBron James said,
"The one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch."
Making sure to drive the point home, he said,
"Don't get it twisted. Don't get it up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA."
So then Charles Barkley goes on to agree with him. The round mound from Alabama said this.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world. Oh, you are. Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA.
And that's true. She's bringing a lot of attention. She just signed a deal with Wilson Basketball. The last player to do that was Michael Jordan. She will have a signature basketball on sale in all sports stores. She's got the Nike shoe contract. She's doing rather well. Well, if you're out there in exercise land, how many of you guys have wondered why your wife likes to wear yoga pants? Tim Hawkins explains.
This may be the dumbest song I've ever written. It's pretty new, and it's just about real life, so let's do it. My wife was out for 3 days to visit her mom. I was supposed to cook and clean while she was gone. Somehow she never buckles under all the demands. I had to know her secret, I had to understand. Well, I thought it might be coffee, but that gives her the shakes. It might be soap operas, but she says they're too fake. It's not the car she drives or what she puts in her hair. I realized it's got to be something that she wears. Yoga pants. She wears them all day. Yoga pants. At work and at play. Yoga pants. What's all the fuss? What makes them so special that they keep them from us? Yoga pants. Well, any normal person would leave it alone. But I'm not a normal person and nobody was home. My wife was out of town and the kids were outside. I went into the bedroom and decided I would try yoga pants. So stretchy and thin, yoga pants. Feels like my own skin. Yoga pants. Where you been all my life? I've never done yoga, but these make me wanna try yoga pants. So soft and so sleek, yoga pants. Feels good on my cheeks, yoga pants. These are the best. If you're waiting for a video, don't hold your breath. Namaste.
Tim Hawkins, he was here in Chattanooga not too long ago, and my wife treated me to a night out and a date. I got to go to see Tim Hawkins. He is the class act. If you want to find something funny, go to YouTube or just go to his webpage and watch some of his stuff. I guarantee he will brighten a day if you're having a bad one. Well, we're coming up on the 5 o'clock hour. When we come back, we'll talk about Ankerberg's prediction of the 8 countries that will probably attack Israel. And it's found in Ezekiel 38, if you want to look that up. And we'll tackle that and a few other things. But just remind you that I do have a book, Move Your Mountains, Learn the Journey of Faith They Can Overcome. And I'll be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your
I have been doing this every
you,
morning, and I lost 68 pounds.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Program.
Grows in the forest. Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We got forever, and it won't be long, 'cause we know our help is on the way, the way. So keep your head up. Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back. No, don't you give up. Hey. Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back. And when the world gets complicated, we're gonna keep on celebrating, 'cause we know.
Jesus is coming back, and that's a great song by Jordan Felice. Jesus is coming back. I hope you guys have heard it. It's a wonderful song. But before he comes back, things have got to happen. A lot of folks want to sing Kumbaya, Lord, Kumbaya, which means come back, Lord, now. But there's things that still have to happen, and let's talk about it. I'm going to play a little clip here from John Ankerberg's show talking about Ezekiel chapter 38. I've been hinting about this because this is a good little 4-minute clip. We'll stop it and talk a little bit about it. But how many of you believe Jesus is coming back? Well, I do. But how many of you understand for Christ to come back, prophecies have to be fulfilled? And one will have to be fulfilled is all the nations will turn on Israel as the Antichrist comes on the scene. So check this out.
It's RNC co-chair Lara Trump. On behalf of the...
Okay, don't know why that's on there. Here we go.
I'm going to ask you, Ron, in a minute to do some interpretation, but I'm going to read this passage. But all you guys that went to Dallas Theological Seminary, they actually make you take Greek and Hebrew. You actually have to learn it. So what I'm reading in English, you've already looked at every word in Hebrew, all right? So I'm going to ask you for the translation in English for my audience. But here's what Ezekiel says in chapter 38, 1 through 6. Ezekiel says, "The word of the Lord came to me saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal." We're going to translate these geographical areas into modern names in just a minute. The prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him and say, Thus says the Lord God, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, prince of Rosh, Meshach, and Tubal. I will turn you about and put hooks in your jaws, and I'll bring you out and all your army, horses, and horsemen, all of them splendidly attired, a great company with buckler and shield, all of them wielding swords. And he names the nations of Persia, Ethiopia, and Put with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, another nation, with all its troops. Beth Togarmah, another nation from the remote parts of the north, with all its troops. Many peoples with you. Now, Ron, if you put modern names on the same geographical areas that Ezekiel was talking about, if you translate into those same geographical areas today.
Now check this out. Some of you are wanting to know, Macil, are we in end times? Listen as he explains to you those names were back when the Bible was written in that time period, and the prophecy was, of course, the future. Listen to the names, and then if you've paid any attention to the news, I think you're saying, Shabammer, we're getting close.
What are the nations that I just read?
Well, as we do not just studies in Hebrew, but archaeology and historical studies, we find that Rosh is Russia. We don't say that just because it sounds alike. We say that because we have actual evidence, including inscriptions on the wall in various caves and so forth, referring to words very similar to Rosh, which point to the people that live in Russia today. As well, in Ezekiel 38, Rosh is said to be to the uttermost north of Israel. And when you draw a line straight up from Israel, well, you come upon Russia. So there's pretty good evidence for that.
Yeah. Go to
Now,
Magog.
Well, Magog refers to the southern portion of Russia. If you can imagine Russia right here, go a little bit south where you're going to see the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. There are mountainous regions around these areas, around these lakes, and it's all the Stan nations.
Yeah, let me read your book. Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. That's the land that we're talking about.
Well, that's right. If you have the Caspian Sea and just go directly east, you've got Kazakhstan, and then due south is Uzbekistan, and then due south of that is Turkmenistan. All of these are Islamic.
Yeah.
And that means that they're going to have a motive to join Iran and other Muslim nations against Israel.
How about Meshach?
Well, Meshach and Tubal, as well as Gomer and Beth Togarmah, all refer to Turkey. Now, what does that tell you, John? It tells you that Turkey is going to be a major player in this invasion. In fact, as we're going to see, Russia, Iran, and Turkey are the biggies when it comes to this invasion.
Yeah, how about Persia?
Well, speaking of Iran, Persia is Iran. In fact, Persia became Iran back in 1935, so there's no question about that. But you've also got Libya, which is Put, and you've got Ethiopia, which is Sudan. Now, all of these are Islamic, and they're going to join with Russia against Israel. And by the way, John, there's been precedent set for the Russians joining with Arab and Muslim nations against Israel. You might remember back in 1973 when Syria and Egypt and other Muslim countries were attacking Israel. Guess who provided the intelligence and the weapons? It was Russia.
Yeah. So folks, get this list in your mind. Actually, Russia, Iran, Turkey, Sudan, Libya, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and possibly Afghanistan, Algeria, Tunisia, and many nations with you.
Now, as you guys heard those names, are any of you el shakarubered that they hate Israel? And you notice he said, now this John Ankerberg is no longer with us. So this was done a while back, and he said possibly Afghanistan. I think now we would agree Afghanistan would definitely be a player in, I think, the attack on Israel. Now, I think it's interesting too when you just think about some of the things that are happening around the world. You have the BRICS movement, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. That's a movement. That's a global shift of power, even though it's mainly financial. They're also talking military alignments, which would put them in odds against NATO. And what you're finding out, as we found out, these different nations now that are going along with the international court arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Germany just announced today they're a part now of the European coalition that said they will arrest the Prime Minister of Israel. So that's going to put Netanyahu on a major list because he can't travel now to certain meetings. If he lands or gets in the airspace of certain countries now, he can be arrested. So it's going to force him to stay in Israel. Okay, Sammy, you with that? So what you have here, all these nations that are going to pair up, a couple of things they have in mind. One, they're Islamic. Islam, they really go against, the Judeo-Christian because they believe the birthright. Ishmael, they believe, was firstborn over Isaac, even though he was not the promised son of. He was the plan Abraham and his wife came up with, as you guys know the whole story. So you got a lot of issues here. You got a lot of emotions. You got religions involved. Okay, all this tension is going to continue to rise. Now, who's the author of confusion, the Bible tells us? That would be Satan. So if he's the author of confusion, he's the best. Have you ever been someone around the best? If you've been around someone, like, say, who do you think, they call it the GOAT now, greatest of all time. Tom Brady's called the GOAT of football. Michael Jordan, and some say LeBron's the GOAT of basketball. Who's the greatest of all time? Well, Jesus Christ is, of course, the greatest of all time, in my heart and mind. But as you start thinking about that, the devil is the greatest of all time when it comes to deception. Just think about it. He deceived Eve and Adam. He deceived 1/3 of the angels in heaven to literally leave heaven. He is a great deceiver, and he's deceived you and I probably on many occasions. Don't count out the ability of Satan. We're told also in Ezekiel that the devil is the most intelligent creature God's ever made. So I just thought I'd bring that to you at the front of this hour, that we need to be wise, and that these countries that will be lined up against Israel, I think it's important that we know their names and remember them. I'll play them again real quick before the break.
Guess who provided the intelligence and the weapons? It was Russia.
Yeah. So folks, get this list in your mind. Actually, Russia, Iran, Turkey, Sudan, Libya, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and possibly Afghanistan, Algeria, Tunisia, and many nations with you.
I'll be back.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana
Serving you
Figueroa,
clarity
a
through
marine
context.
biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
doing?
Each year, the Federal Reserve asks that question to Americans about their financial well-being, and most adults are like,
Pretty good. Pretty good.
but for one notable exception, parents. No, the parents aren't all right, according to the latest Fed survey. The share of adults living with their kids under age 18 who say they are doing at least okay financially dropped 5 percentage points in 1 year, while it was unchanged for all other adults. At 64%, it's the lowest share of financially okay parents since the Fed started breaking this down in 2015. And it's 11 points lower than the 2021 high. I've got one word for you, or two, depending on who you ask: childcare. For parents paying for childcare, they're typically spending the equivalent of 50 to 70% of their monthly housing payment on childcare costs. The Fed compares these two things because a housing payment is usually Americans' single biggest monthly expense. The Fed says the median childcare expense is $800 a month and $1,100 for those needing 20 or more hours per week. The results are even worse in a new report by Child Care Aware of America. They say the average cost of childcare for 2 kids is now greater than the average rent in all 50 states. The plight of parents is a big reason legislation that would expand the child tax credit soared through the House 357 to 70. The bill would increase the max refund per kid to $1,900 for the 2024 tax season and $2,000 for 2025, which frankly is about 2 months of childcare. But the Senate has yet to vote on the bipartisan bill, taking issue with some of its provisions. Without the expansion, the max refund of the existing child tax credit is $1,600. I'm Simone Del Rosario. For more.
So, what do you think about that? Raising kids, of course, is costing more money. And I think that would make sense. New kindergarten requirements send some parents scrambling for childcare. Here's another update on childcare for you parents and grandparents to consider.
Childcare providers closed their doors today for National Day Without Childcare. It's all to draw attention to just how expensive it's become. And here in Connecticut, a new law that changes the age kids can start kindergarten has some providers and parents scrambling. NBC Connecticut's Cindy Boyle is live in New Britain with more to explain. Sydney?
That's right, Jane. That change will go into effect this upcoming school year, which means that parents that have kids that fall after the cutoff will have this summer to figure out what to do. Beginning in the 2024 to 2025 school year, the state age requirement to kindergarten will change.
I don't care for it too much because I think that, you know, when they're ready to turn 5, they should be going to school.
Previously, children that turned 5 by January 1st were automatically eligible for kindergarten. Last year, lawmakers passed a change, pushing the cutoff back to September 1st.
Some of the kids have to stay and be back.
And I was one of those kids back in the day. My birthday's November 16th. And when I was going to school, it was cut off in October. So that meant I was a year older looking and a little taller, if you will, in kindergarten. So all these changes, all this stuff happening, I think it's important that parents are prayed for. Churches, see what you can do. But child care is a very serious situation for many folks to consider, because when young families are looking right now, churches aren't what they used to be. Now, Ottawa Baptist had a child care facility for, I was told, like 29, 30 years. They just announced they're shutting their program down and will not be re-upping in the fall. A lot of churches are finding it challenging to provide Mother's Day out, daycares, and child care. Some, I'm sure, because of the insurance legalities, but there's a plethora of reasons. So as you start looking for those opportunities, now some are from their home offering child care, or maybe, if you want to call it that, maybe keeping 1 to 2 kids. Now, you can go and check out what the regulations are. There's people that do that for a side hustle, if you will. But the bottom line is your kids' formative years. You know, kids between 1 and 7 can learn up to 5 languages pretty easy because their brains they're not filled with stuff yet. I would pray about what you do with your children, okay? And I know we have expensive lifestyles, and let's be honest. We tend to drive cars more, than we probably should pay for them. We tend to buy houses that are bigger than we need. It's just that it is one thing about if you want to call it the American dream, we do tend to indulge, if you will, to a point we put ourselves in a financial situation. And then what we find ourselves is we have to have both parents working and maybe even side jobs or side hustles so that you can have the things that you quote unquote enjoy in life. What's most important, and I'll just give you my little testimonial, if you will. We had decided my wife would stay home with the kids. I'm a very big fan of what was said by the punter from Kansas City at the commencement. And he talked about we should celebrate women that want to stay home, homemakers, mothers. It's a very, very, I think, honorable thing to do. Now, not everyone can. I'm not trying to shame you if you can't stay home with your children, but if you can at all possible, I highly recommend. Because your kids, those formidable years, you want to be the one that instills morals, values, right from wrong, and don't just assume, because most teachers today just didn't get reared the way you were reared. There was a time when we, in America, we pretty much all believed. We had plumb lines of truth. We believed, at least in the principles of the Bible, if you didn't believe the whole Bible, you believed in certain things. But now, you've got just such a plethora of beliefs. You have this DEI stuff. You've got the transgender movement. You've got all the sexualization. And kids, instead of going to school to learn how to read and write and the proper history, they're being taught to salute other flags. Right here in Chattanooga, my good friend Cindy and her husband Lemon went to a parent night, and they found out that their child's been saluting other countries. They don't even have an American flag in the elementary school there here in Chattanooga. And when asked, the teacher sheepishly said, "Oh, because the American flagpole wouldn't fit in the slot." And Lemon said, "Well, fine, I'll go down to Ace Hardware right now. What size you need?" Of course, she backed off, and she didn't want to admit she was intentionally indoctrinating kids against being proud to be Americans. And that's what's at stake right now. They have successfully massaged in. And one thing I heard in a Tulsi Gabbard interview I appreciated, she said not only do we need to allow abortion discussions go back to the states, she said the education. And one of the big, I think deceptions of the Bush family is when they brought the No Child Left Behind. Because when they brought that to us, everyone thought, "Oh, that's so noble." Kids in Michigan that move to Tennessee, or a kid in Kentucky moves to California, if they're all on some standardized testing, that makes sure all the schools, no matter which state you're in, is somehow on a same learning curve. That's not what No Child Left Behind was. The Bushes deceived us. What the No Child Left Behind was, it was allowed for government indoctrination. Ever since, that curse has been brought upon the school system. All it's done is put a complete push for your government funding based on test scores. And so teachers are teaching kids basically how to pass tests than how to learn information, because if you don't pass the test, you don't get the money. And we're like that show with Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr., Show Me the Money. And that's sad. Teachers should not be under pressure to produce test scores so they get money for their school. But that's the way a lot of them are. So I'm a big fan of putting education back in the hands of state legislatures. And you got like an Alabama that's very conservative. I tease about their sports programs because I'm a Tennessee fan. But out of all the states, Alabama is the most conservative state in the union. Okay? They only registered 12% of liberals in a recent poll there. So you've got a state like Alabama that would probably make sure their kids' education was very, basic on what we would call education. But then you have Californias and your Oregons and your Massachusetts that would probably teach the kids the crazy things that are being taught now, but parents would have a choice. they would say, I don't want my child learning that. I think I'll move to Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. I'll move down to the South or move out west where they have more values of my liking. Savvy? So I'm a big fan of taking away the No Child Left Behind and the government, the Department of Education. To me, I would dissolve it. If I was president for a day, I could write some executive orders. I would dissolve the FBI. I would dissolve the Department of Education. And I would dissolve the IRS and go to a flat tax. That's just me. I remember Herman Cain. I know, God rest his soul. Do you remember 999? But he had that, and they scared him to death because he was climbing in the polls. And next thing you know, they tried to dig up things in his past and submarine that fellow. But he was a smart man, and sad. He died of COVID during the COVID pandemic. But Herman Cain's a good man. So something for you to think about, chew on. I was also interested to find out, in case you haven't heard, there's some good news about the Second Amendment. The United Liberty says Supreme Court ghost gun decision expands school Second Amendment rights. And so in April, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear a pivotal case challenging Biden's administration's regulation on homemade untraceable ghost guns. And so they're being challenged, and because people should be allowed, they can, they want to make a gun, let them make a gun. That's just my opinion. It's, again, the fork and knife doesn't make you fat, okay? It's who holds the fork and knife. The gun isn't dangerous. It's the person that holds the gun that makes it dangerous. Banning guns does not, it penalizes the good guy. Bad guys will get the guns. You guys know that. Well, Trump-backed candidate wins House special election in California, adding to the GOP's majority. And I think that's good news. So California Assemblyman Vince Fang appears to have handily won California's special election yesterday, bringing the Republican Party's slim majority up a notch, which is nice. So with 87% of the votes that have been counted, the New York Times has declared Fang the winner in that Senate race, or that House race, in California. That's interesting. Blaze Media lets us know illegal immigrant from Turkey is shocked at how easy it is to enter the U.S. This is a recent border crosser, and he says he can't believe how easy it is to enter the U.S. No security check, no background check. The crisis at the U.S.-Mexican border is so apparent that even illegal immigrants are shocked at how easy it is to enter our country. And because they know from their other countries, you have to produce papers, identification. It's not that easy. Fox News national correspondent Bill Milan interviewed a man from Turkey whose illegal crossing in San Diego sector near Jacuba Hot Springs. The man said that he paid a Mexican cartel $10,000 to be able to cross through their territory on the Mexican side of the border. So for $10,000, he was guaranteed safety to the American border by one of the cartels. In fact, America's people is right. Completely true. Who comes into this country? They don't know. Okay, I'm good. But if they're not good, what if they're killers, psychopaths? This is the guy from Turkey saying this, he said. No guarantee of that. The man warned, like no security, no background checks, this could be a problem. So here's a guy coming into our country from Turkey saying it's kind of easy, and he didn't realize how easy it would be. Well, China launches powerful punishment military drills around Taiwan days after a new leader is sworn in and had a little bit of independence in his tone. And Xi wanted to let him know that's not acceptable. Communist China launched a large-scale military exercise around Taiwan on Thursday, saying it's a powerful punishment for Taiwan's separatist acts. And they're calling them drills, if you will. But what China's been doing with their navy is surrounding the island of Taiwan and with high-powered boats, planes, etc., trying to use the tool of intimidation, and that's a sad thing. As I told you, there are angry education workers, and they're asking high schoolers to go on strike for Gaza. They're picking a day, and I won't mention the day again. I don't want to add fuel to that fire. But they're trying to get kids to skip school on a particular day in May, showing support for Gaza and anti-Israel. I think that is so wrong, and shame on you teachers that promote such things. That is not your job. Your job is not to try and get kids to believe in your values of which countries are good and bad. Your job is to teach them how to read, how to write, literature, etc. Very disappointed in the public education system. The FBI raids office and business of controversial Soros-funded district attorney in Mississippi. This is rather odd. The FBI doing something many might find good. Maybe this is just a PR stunt. We don't know. But the FBI raided the office and business of Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens early Wednesday morning. Okay? The raid, which also targeted several business properties associated with Owens, including Downtown Chicago Cigar Company, Downtown Pizza, and a local daiquiri bar, raises serious questions about the operations of one of Mississippi's most controversial legal figures, who has been funded by the billionaire George Soros. So FBI, maybe they're trying to make up for all the bad press they got about the use of force, if you will, deadly force at Mar-a-Lago in those things, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Trump ally Rick Scott officially throws his hat in the ring for Senate GOP leader. Now, the only thing about that is Rick Scott, and I read for you earlier, there has been a release, a whistleblower from the Ukraine is telling us how many have gotten kickbacks from the funds, and here's the list. And I believe Rick Scott is on there. Let me double check before I say that. Yes, he is. Rick Scott has gotten $63 million in kickbacks from the Ukraine. All the billions of dollars we're sending. Joe Biden, $92 million. Mitch McConnell, $89 million. Nancy Pelosi, $86 million. Chuck the Schumer, $66 million. Lindsey Graham, it's not all DNC. It's some of these are GOPers. Lindsey Graham has gotten $82 million kickbacks from the Ukraine. Mitt Romney, $71 million. John Cornyn, $41 million. Adam Pencilneck the Shifter, $62 million. Dan Crenshaw, Mr. Eye Patch, wink wink, he has gotten $20 million kickbacks. Elizabeth Cheney, $77 million. Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, $42 million. Jamie Raskin, $38 million. Mike Pence, $61 million. That's right, VP Mike Pence and his brother, Greg Pence, $17 million. Got to keep it in the family. Rick Scott, who is wanting to be the Senate leader because Mitch McConnell's stepping down. I'm pushing, I would like to see our senator, and her name escapes me right now. Anyway, I'm going down this list. This is the whistleblower list, and these aren't my words, but the whistleblower. Mike Pence, Greg Pence, Rick Scott, $63 million. Hakeem Jeffries, $74 million. Ilham Omar, $33 million. And Elizabeth Warren, a.k.a. Pocahontas, $42 million. So these people, a whistleblower from the Ukraine has released on X, and you can go to X, a.k.a. to, again, look at the list and see the folks that are getting kickbacks from the relief money we're sending to the Ukraine. And don't forget the FTX scandal that broke out of the Bahamas. You remember Beanbag Boy, all that money disappeared. Well, it was in the midterms. And if you remember, it was coming back up through America bank accounts when it supposedly disappeared. And but it came from the Ukraine. If you go and you can watch, Jesse Waters does a very detailed expose showing how we sent the money to the Ukraine. They got a 65% raise for all, a 65, mind you, percent raise Can I repeat that? 65% raise of a lot of their leadership. We are paying for all of their fire department and their policemen, all their salaries. Every small business owner in the Ukraine gets a stimulus check. Thank you, American taxpayers, right? So all that's coming in, but a big portion of it went down to the Bahamas and FTX, and it came back through America on midterm election day. Isn't that interesting? The day midterm election, and then boom, it all disappeared. It can't be tracked. Do you believe that? I don't. So I'm not real crazy about Rick Scott anymore, and Marsha Blackburn, that's who I think should be the leader of the GOP if they take back this Senate. Biden, FBI issues terror alert warning of Islamic attack on U.S. Pride Month. I shared this with you yesterday. This is a PSA alert with Homeland Security and other agencies. But it's the alert I-051024-PSA public service announcement from the federal government. Foreign terrorist organizations and their supporters likely heightened threat environment during the 2024 Pride Month. And so it's something for you to take consider if you want to go to the Gateway Pundit and read it more in depth. They're giving us a warning that we might have conflict on American soil. Don't forget the FBI Director Christopher Wray has now said 6 times publicly to Congress, we have sleeper cells in our country because of the border crossings, and there's a chance we could have a 9/11 type event on American soil. His words, not mine. Newly released emails reveal that John Kerry and Obama administration blocked FBI from arresting dangerous Iranians, including terrorists, at least 8 times. Now, this shows you how powerful Obama is, if you will. This is 2018. Donald Trump was the president, but Obama used his influence inside the FBI to block 8 arrests. 8 different times arrests were going to be made. In March 2018, Barack Obama, former Secretary of State John Kerry, were caught secretly meeting with Iran officials to salvage Iran's nuclear weapons program that Donald Trump scrapped. So Kerry was working against the Trump administration to salvage Obama-Iranian nuclear deal that funded terrorism across the Middle East. Obama's former Secretary of State seen dining with several Iranian regime officials, and they've got photos and stuff that they're showing around. So around this time, President Donald Trump withdrew from the sham Iranian nuclear deal. President Trump knew that the deal was with the Iranian mullahs and it was not working. John Kerry reportedly told the Iran officials, wait out Trump's presidency, for we are coming and we will win 2020. So evidently he knew the fix was in, or implied it was. So something for us to keep in mind. I don't know what you think. As I told you, Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake have left Hollywood, and they've moved to Montana and Tennessee. They've got homes in both, and they said they're avoiding the paparazzi and the invasion of privacy from Hollywood. Not to mention, they just wanted a break. Well, good for them. So Hollywood on the move from Hollyweird. Interesting, is it not? How are we doing on time? Okay, a few minutes before the break. Healthcare Kaiser is now begging doctors to come back. Yes, the unvaccinated doctors and nurses that were fired over draconian COVID vaccine mandates are now being begged back by Kaiser. Kaiser's one of the big pharma, I think, that helped put out some of the infection injections. But they are now sending out letters asking for folks to come back and reapply for their jobs. They have dropped the vaccine mandate. So that's interesting, is it not? We'll continue to see the world of Anthony Fauci continue to fall. And what he tried to do, I think the sham is being exposed almost daily now. Dr. Burke, his former partner in crime, the Scarf Lady, if you remember, wrote in her book, they lied to Trump. The virus did come from China. And she said they were not honest with the American people. And it's in her book. You can read it for yourself. Well, we're going to go to a break here in just a moment. And when we come back, I've got to ask you this question, and it was pretty fair in this article I read. What if the FBI raided Barack Obama? Would we be hearing cries of racism? Of course, they have to cry racism. Anything happens that against anyone that's non-white. But what would happen if Republican President Trump ordered FBI raid on Obama's D.C. mansion and authorized use of deadly force? Now, be honest, America. We would be burning to the ground this morning. They would riot and find a way. Where are the calls for the immediate resignation of FBI Chief Christopher Wray and DOJ Chief Attorney General Merrick Garland? Because they now have the judge has released the documents, and the court case against Trump in Florida is now suspended indefinitely because now they can't verify that they didn't tamper with evidence and plant evidence. And now with this document that's come out that they had permission from the DOJ to use deadly force in a raid against Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. Very interesting, and I think it's a fair statement. If it was Barack Obama, and this happened under Trump's watch, they would scream racism to the highest heavens. And that's what you got here. But if you want to go to the Gateway Pundit, you can see the actual, Julie Kelly has it posted too on her X account, the actual document, and it says FBI, blah, 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 will engage and will be is given permission to use deadly force if needed. So why would you put that in a search warrant of a former president who has Secret Service protecting him? It's just asinine. This is completely unacceptable. And the dirty FBI defends authorized use of deadly force at Mar-a-Lago raid, including a triage plan, 30 armed agents, and a map to trauma center. This is ridiculous. Well, we're going to a break. This is the Macil Duncan Show. I'll be back for my final segment after this break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Serving you clarity.
That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
For a sixth time in 6 months, a House committee held a hearing regarding the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses. This latest one, just weeks after thousands of students and pro-Palestinian protesters clashed with police and counter-protesters on college campuses across the country, including the University of California at Los Angeles, Rutgers, Harvard, and Columbia. The disruptions even caused some universities to change venues for their graduation ceremonies or cancel them altogether. The leaders of Northwestern, Rutgers, and UCLA were grilled on Capitol Hill Thursday.
President Schill, the ADL released its report card for universities' responses to anti-Semitism, and you're aware that Northwestern was the only university whose grade was downgraded, correct?
Yes, I am aware of that.
And isn't it also true that the Northwestern earned an F for your failure to respond and combat anti-Semitism, and they called for your resignation? Is that correct?
I have great respect for the ADL.
I'm not asking your respect for the ADL. I'm asking, is it a fact that you earned an F and they called for your resignation?
I have great respect for the ADL. I am sad that they gave Northwestern
But
an
it's
F.
true. You got an F. Yes.
What will be the consequences for racists calling for genocide?
Student disciplinary processes. If there's complaints and they can identify the student, they'll go through a disciplinary process.
But anything less than a suspension, in my opinion, is insufficient.
Hundreds of investigations are pending at several colleges to decide if students or staff members will face disciplinary action for their roles in campus clashes with Jewish or Muslim students.
Now, the thing that bothers many of us is that a pro-life demonstration, there's a lady now going to jail 4 to 5 years. Her crime, she prayed inside an abortion clinic. They passed out literature, okay? And so they're going to jail. These kids, and what's sad is in Columbia, they did a ping test of the cell phones. 62% of those in Columbia were not registered students. A lot of them were foreign government phones given to people crossing the border. They were adults. And if you remember, Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, was arrested. She was a part of one of those fake protests. So it's very sad that it's happening. Daily Wire announces angry education workers ask high school students to go on strike from a school for the sake of Gaza. They're calling it School Strike for Gaza. I won't mention the date again, but it's in May. And they're asking kids across the country to skip high school and stay home in solidarity for Gaza and Palestine. And their demands are that there's a ceasefire from Israel and that America stops doing any financial business or funding with Israel. What has got that so? I mean, 6 months ago, these kids weren't thinking that. Well, how come this is all just ignited? The media, social media, and don't forget, my friends, it's a presidential election just 5 months away. So let's be smart about some of this. Some of this is just outright, just nothing but manipulation, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's what it is. And AOC admits that the Trump trials were nothing but ankle monitors to keep him in New York and to keep him from traveling the country for campaigning.
And by the way, he's doing it in the South Bronx not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet.
You can't end a good party without someone on the floor.
around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court.
So she mentioned, I don't know if you caught the little guy's thing, that it's like an ankle monitor, that they're making him stay in New York so he can't travel the country. So what did Trump do? He flipped it on him. He's traveling through the New York. He's having a rally tonight in the Bronx, and there seems to be a lot of support for Donald Trump among those in New York. It'll be interesting to see. Now, there'll be demonstrations tonight, I'm sure. But we'll see what happens, and I hope it's a great turnout. I wish him well. If you happen to pay attention, I did the nations that will be in Ezekiel 38, who is going to turn on Donald Trump, and here's just a replay at the end. I won't play the whole clip, but these are the nations to watch out for, according to John Ankerberg's show, and this was about 12 years ago.
With Arab and Muslim nations against Israel. You might remember back in 1973 when Syria and Egypt and other Muslim countries were attacking Israel. Guess who provided the intelligence and the weapons? It was Russia.
Yeah. So folks, get this list in your mind. Actually, Russia, Iran, Turkey, Sudan, Libya, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and possibly Afghanistan, Algeria, Tunisia, and many nations with you.
And that's true. Interesting list there, and hope you study Ezekiel 38 and help you understand who is coming after the president and, who's coming after Israel, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We're about to wrap up the show. I just want to remind you, my book, Move Your Mountains, is available on Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, Amazon, wherever you buy your online material. Move Your Mountains, learn the journey of faith. And I appreciate all that buy the book and tell your friends about it. We are constantly just trying to find ways to encourage and uplift. Also, our food pantry. If you'd like to make a donation, you can give online at www.appisonbaptist.com. That's appisonbaptist.com. I want to thank one of my listeners down in Florida that sent a $3,000 check today, and we received it. And pastor salute to my family in Florida that helps us feed the hungry. God bless, Godspeed to that. And I just want to remind you, Jesus is coming back, and I'm excited about it. Here's a song that as we end out the show.
Ever thought that the world has kind of lost its way? Crazy as it seems, yeah, I know it's gonna be okay. Ooh, yeah, it doesn't scare me, it's temporary. There's something better we got forever, and it won't be long, cause we know our help is on the way, So keep your head up, Jesus is coming back. No, don't you give up. Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back. And when the world gets complicated, we're gonna keep on celebrating. 'Cause we know, yeah, we know, Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back. We gotta stay awake, 'cause nobody knows the day or time. Just